All right, so I welcome you all once again to our webinar for the MSBA, the Business Analytics Flex program at UT Dallas. My name is Gaurav Shekhar. I'm the program director for the Business Analytics Flex and online programs. I'm also the assistant dean for the graduate programs here at the Jindal School of Management. I'm an alum of UTD, so there are a lot of things just beyond the program that I can assist you with. And of course, business analytics is something that is hot, and we are here to talk about that. The format is going to be very simple for today. We'll spend the first few minutes talking about the program, and then we'll quickly move into your questions. Your questions are important to us. This is a big decision. You may have a lot of questions, and we want to make sure that they are answered. So we have a packed agenda for this 1 hour, and hopefully we can answer all the questions that you have today with us. All right, before we get really started as to why business analytics at UT Dallas, the bigger question that lies in front of you is why business analytics at all? Now, just fun fact, UTD has more than 140 different degrees that it offers. And if you look at other institutions, of course, everybody has their own set of degree programs. So with all these degree programs, why do we care about doing a degree with business analytics? The number one reason for that is that data is everywhere. And to really put some meat to that statement, I'll have to take you back a few decades. Let's go to the 70s. And if you think about 70s, a lot of great things were happening. Yes, the music was great, movies were great, but the technology sector was going through a major shift. Technology, especially IT, was not something that was just restricted to big corporations, research labs. It was coming inside our homes. The first PC came out in the 70s. So with computers getting into our homes, the question was, okay, we need better applications for people to interface with the computers. And what exactly are the use cases for the use of a computer, which is so far has been used in an organization, a big research organization or government agency, but not really in homes. So that led to a lot of applications getting developed, a lot of languages that we still see in use were developed in the 70s. Databases were developed in the 70s. Most of them that we see today in their advanced forms were all products of the 70s. So when we talk about computers, we talk about applications, which brings me to a very simple question. Why do we have applications? And the only reason to have applications is to manage data. So it has always been about managing data. As we moved from the 70s, the 80s was more about, okay, how do we make sure these applications are good enough to manage our data? But after about 20, 30 years, the question was, okay, we have now heaps of this data, what do we do with it? That's where the leaders came forward and they started talking about how this data is good for some kind of historical analysis. They talked about how the different models can be used, techniques can be used, so that we can figure out what we did well, where we can improve, etc. Using data to make decisions was something that came out because we had all this data at hand. And people did not want to really just spend time on their hunch rather than go with solid numbers and figures to make decisions. Now, whenever a need of this sort comes up, the question is, how do we make sure that our employees, these companies and employees, they are able to deal with this new need? Training programs are put together, all that works fine. But the speed at which this need was growing, people really needed something better. And at that point of time, the industry turned to one person, academia. And that's how we started, programs around analytics. To be honest, the first program for analytics came out in the year 2007. That wasn't too long ago. And the next 10 years saw a lot of institutions, top institutions, starting an analytics program. Even though they were doing something around analytics, a program which was focused on analytics came out only around this time. And in 2014 is when UT Dallas started its own business analytics program. So we are marching towards our 10th year in business analytics. And if you think about it, now there is no organization that's not digital. Digital means that they have applications, which means that they are generating oodles of data that they need control over. They need to analyze the data to make better decisions. So they need people who can speak the language of data. And to be honest, even though the need is really through the roof, there is a dearth of qualified professionals. Dearth of qualified professionals who can very effectively look into all these different data heaps, figure out what the frameworks should be used, how to go about it as a whole. Now, you talk about the tech sector, the financial sector, all of these sectors have a need around analytics. So it's not something that is just limited to organizations that are, working around computer products or IT services. Talking about the program at UT Dallas, this is where things get interesting because, first of all, we are the largest in-person analytics program in the country. And it's not just because we have the most number of students at the graduate level. The catalog that we have, the list of courses from which you can pick your courses, select your courses, is huge. Students need to take 12 courses in our program. And there are more than 80 courses, 80, from which they can pick up their courses. So that kind of flexibility, whether you want to take a course in the night, in the daytime, 4 o'clock class works better for you, all those decisions you can make. You can tailor your experience the way you want to. You want to take a certain course in a semester, you want to have a certain combination of courses in a semester, you get to decide that. At the same time, engagement is top for us. It's very important because what you're doing in the class, you need to do more things outside of the class to really help you shape your experience, shape your profile, shape your personality as a business analytics student. And we make sure that there are enough opportunities for you to spend your time. Similarly, when we do something, we want to make sure that we are focusing on what the outcomes are. We see exactly how something turned out to be, and if there's a need to tweak it so that your experience is better. So we're very, very focused on outcomes and how everything helps you towards your academic journey, your professional journey. We are committed to that. So we're very focused on that. The program has 10 tracks. You don't have to declare any track, but there are 10 different buckets from which you can take electives. Data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, accounting, decision and operations, financial analytics, healthcare analytics, marketing analytics, social media, enterprise system. You talk about all of these different tracks. We have 7 to 10 courses in each of these tracks. So many options for you to pick and choose from. Some students take all their electives from one track because they want to specialize in that area. Some students take multiple courses from multiple tracks. Whatever is your preference, you can take courses accordingly. This is a 36 credit program. Half of your courses are core and half of them are electives. And we will see in a few minutes the catalog just to get a glimpse of what kind of courses are there. It's a STEM designated program, which means if your employer is looking for STEM talent, there you go. If you're an international student and you're looking for extended benefits on your student visa, in terms of your optional practical training or OPT, you get extended 2 years of extended benefits in terms of working in the US. Our intake is in all 3 semesters: fall, which is in August, spring, which is in January, and then summer, that is May. And at any point of time, some or the other cycle for application will be open. Right now, we have the spring applications out. So, there is still time if you're thinking about spring. And again, our regular deadlines that are published on UT Dallas's site, even if you send us an application after the regular deadline, we can still accept it. There will be a late fee of $75 that will be assessed, but we do accept them. Why UTD MSBA? Well, as I said, we are the largest in the country. The average starting salary is about $100,000. And these are students who come into the program with 0 to 2 years of experience. What we have seen is with every year of experience, add $10,000 per year on top of your base, which is 100K. We have partnerships with dozens of companies. And when I say partnerships, it's not just that we know each other, we work together aggressively. They're working with our students on projects. They're coming and speaking in our classes. They are making sure that things are done well with the institution in terms of recruiting, for internships, for full-time jobs. If they have to do any research with our faculty, they engage with us. I mean, these companies are working almost full time with us to make sure that their goals are achieved, our goals are achieved, and our students are benefited at the end of the day. And these are top companies, Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies that we work with. And for our students, they get direct access to these companies. That's the best part about it. It's really the student that's benefiting here. There is a high return on investment. And why I say that, there are a lot of different data points from where that statement can be made. Number one, the University of Texas at Dallas is ranked number one in the state of Texas in terms of ROI. And the business analytics program within UT Dallas is right on the top in terms of that ROI. A second data point is, let's say a student has to take an education loan for the entire tuition and their living expenses, let's say $70,000, $80,000. And then the student, their bank gives them 7 to 20 years to pay that off. Our students are paying those loans back in about 2, 3, 3.5 years. And that can only happen if you're making, high salaries. You're getting high salaries, you're living comfortably, you're able to support your family, and at the same time, you're able to pay your loan back as well. So the return on investment, and you are working with top clients, top companies, which are able to pay you those high salaries for the top talent that you have. So definitely, from a lot of different perspectives, there is a high return on investment. Internships, more than 600 internships are pursued every year. And what we see is that the average salary that they make is about $30 an hour. $30 translates to about $60,000 a year. And it is in line with the formula. So say if you are earning $1 as an intern, you earn $2 as a full-timer. So what we are seeing, our students are doing well with that kind of, with that equation. By the way, please use the chat feature to put your questions down. That's the best way to put your questions out, because right at the end of this presentation, it should be another 10 minutes, we will be getting into your questions. So please use the chat. The program, as I said, is STEM designated. It also has different flavors. The Flex program has all the 10 tracks that we can offer. Most of our courses, 85% of our courses are face-to-face. There are a few online options as well. It's self-paced. You can finish the whole degree in 1 year. If you want to do it in 2 years, you can take 2 years. The maximum time that you get at UT Dallas to finish a master's degree is 6 years. Nobody takes 6 years. But what we have seen is if you're doing this full-time, it's 1.5 to 2 years. If you're a working professional, maybe 2 to 2.5 years is what we see generally. Working professionals generally start slow. They take a couple of classes, and then as they get habitual of taking classes, they start stacking up more courses in a semester. It's a state-funded program, which means the more credits you take, the credit hour rate goes down. We also have 2 other programs. Cohort and online. Cohort has 2 of the tracks, data science and accounting analytics. Again, most of the courses are face-to-face, and it's self-paced. But if you're looking for a fully online degree here, we do have that too. We offer courses around data science and data engineering. They're 100% online. A lot of those courses have live lectures. Some of them may have pre-recorded lectures, but you have all the handle over your time, how you want to do it. It's also self-paced. All our flavors of the business analytics program, they're all self-paced. But the Flex program, as I mentioned, has all the 10 tracks. All the possible electives that one can take can be found in the Flex program. So let's take a moment and talk about the application requirements. The there are a few key things that we need for your application. Number one, we need your GRE or GMAT. Now, we do offer waivers. So once you submit your application, if you want to request a GRE or GMAT waiver, please send an email to jsomgradvising@utdallas.edu. Just a one-line email saying that you have applied, here is your application number, the program name, and you would like to go for a waiver. We look at your undergraduate transcript, we see how you've done there, and based on that, we make a decision that if you had to write a GRE or a GMAT, would you make that minimum mark so that we could admit you in the program? Do you have those academic abilities to sit in a graduate program? So it takes about 10 days, 10 business days for us to review that, and then we make a decision. We will need your transcripts. Unofficial ones will do, which means if you have scanned copies, you can send them. And for the purpose of the decision, we can use your unofficial transcripts. But once you're admitted, we will need your official transcripts to come from your institution, whether electronically or through attested copies that are sent to us in sealed envelopes. We need your resume, letters of recommendation, and a personal objective statement. A lot of times the question comes of what should we write in our essay, the personal objective statement. Why you want to do this degree, number one, and how does it factor in your future? If you can answer those questions, you're good. We don't have any application fee waivers. Being a state institution, we cannot offer you fee waivers. However, once you get admitted, and if you want to go for a subsequent program, another program at UTD, and we're going to talk about something really cool about doing a degree at UTD in less than 2 minutes. But if you apply to any other program, there was no application fee that you'll have to pay going forward. But for the first time, you will have to, for the first program that you get into. So the deadlines, and just a moment, that one. All right, I just wanted to make sure that typo was taken care of before we move forward. But yes, you can apply for a scholarship as well. There's a separate application in the Flex program. For fall of 24, they're due May 1st of 2024. And for spring 24, they are due October 1st. Along with your scholarship application, we will also need your GRE or GMAT. So if you've got a waiver, you cannot apply for a scholarship. However, if you have a GRE or a GMAT, please send your official score to us by these deadlines. The official score should have reached UTD along with the, I'm hearing some feedback here. Let me see. Okay, thank you. So the scholarship application, as well as your GRE or GMAT official score should have reached UT Dallas by October 1st of 2023 for spring 24 and May 1st of 2024 for fall. TA ships are available, but they're not given out in the first semester. We want you to spend a semester at UT Dallas before we can consider you for a TA ship. Again, you are a TA for a course that you would have taken, so hence you would need to spend at least one semester with us. Now, students who become TAs, and if they are out-of-state students, which means that their residency is out of state, they're not Texas residents, they are given the ability to pay in-state tuition fee. And the difference between in-state and out-of-state is about 2 times. So it's like getting a 50% reduction on your tuition if you're an out-of-state student. Even with scholarships, the scholarships that come with tuition waiver will give you 50% reduction if you are an out-of-state student. Not all the scholarships have it, but the ones that we award for incoming students, like the Dean's Excellence Scholarship, etc., they have the tuition waivers available. So a student can literally save about $19,000 in one academic year if they get a scholarship. For TA ships, along with your scholarship, the tuition benefit and the monthly pay that you get. So TAs earn about $1,000 after taxes, and their health insurance is also paid. So that whole benefit bundle is close to $15,000 for a TA. So yes, both of them are very attractive, and we have a good number of students every semester that get both of them. Just a quick glance over some of our numbers. Our students do work in a lot of different companies. As I said, 600 different internships are pursued on a daily basis, on a semesterly basis. And we have some of these companies like Ericsson, Copart, Lennox International, FedEx, Amazon, that are some of our top employers. The second chart talks about some of the titles that they have. So it's not everybody is a data analyst, but data scientist, data analytics intern, business intelligence, business analyst, marketing analytics intern, marketing analyst intern, and all of these are very focused roles on what we teach in the business analytics program. So just wanted to let you all know that the kind of diversity we have in the types of roles or the companies that our students pursue an internship with. Similarly, the industries in which they are, and a lot of times we just feel that it's only for computer science, IT related stuff that our students go and work for. But if you look at it, manufacturing, management consulting, banking, computer hardware, healthcare, human resources, transportation, logistics, there are all these different sectors in which these students are. And yes, internet and software is the biggest chunk, but if you look at it, it's only about a quarter of the jobs of all the roles that our students get into. Now, at this point of time, I would also recommend, if you have a LinkedIn profile or you're on LinkedIn, please do check out our stories. Hashtag UTD MSBA is what you need to see, and you will see a lot of great content. It's unmoderated content that our students have put there. They talk about their internships, they talk about any activities they're doing on campus, their experiences as a student. These are first-hand accounts, unmoderated content for you to know what our students are doing. The best thing is most of them talk about their jobs, internships, and you can find exactly what they're doing in a certain company. So let's say you want to go and work for a certain company and you want to know what they do. These are great accounts. It's like an inside scoop into what really it takes to be an employee in maybe what could be your dream company. Maybe there's already an MSBA student that's working there. So great reads, I would recommend. These are just a few examples of our students. You see Gauri, who worked at FedEx, and then Sharon at Tesla, and Harsha, who just completed an internship with Amazon. So great reads. We enjoy reading them every semester when this put this out at the end of their internship journeys. Very heartwarming. UT Dallas has more than 450 student organizations, and 70 of them are in the School of Management. But these are some of the organizations where our students are very active. So the SAP Users Group, Project Management Club, Women in Technology, Toastmasters, Envision, it's a data visualization club, Marketing Analytics, Big Data Club. When you name it, it's there. And these are all run by students. That's the best part about it, because you get to learn different techniques around, if you want to polish your leadership skills, or you want to polish your organizational skills, these student orgs are a great way. But they're also a good interface between the industry and the school. So a lot of times students get speakers that come from different parts of the industry, and it's a great experience of not just attending these events, but also getting the chance to put them together. And it's all done by our students in the most wonderful manner that we can think about. I was talking about the bonus with our programs. You can also pursue a certificate program with us on top of your degree program. And these certificates, based on your residency, it could be anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000, and you get this for free. You just have to take those 3 or 4 courses that are relevant to that certificate, and that's it. You're able to get the certificate, you're able to get the degree. It just maximizes the value of the money that you're spending. You don't have to pay the tuition twice. You don't have to sit in those same courses twice. If a class gives you credit towards a certificate and a degree program, and you are in both of those programs, you get credit towards both. This is a great way through which our students are extending the value of money that they are spending here, but at the same time, these certificates help them with developing a specialization. So machine learning, business intelligence, data mining, cybersecurity, enterprise system, which is all about SAP, healthcare IT. Here's some very good certificates that we have. Finally, our contact details. Ms. Leventhal is on the call with us. She's our program manager and takes care of, a lot of questions that you send our way. But our emails, our direct phone numbers, the best way to get answers from us is to email us. msbuan@utdallas at utdallas.edu is our program mailbox. We'll just put it in the chat so that you're aware of it. But at this point, what I'll do is I'm just going to quickly show you the catalog for a moment and then jump into your questions. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We will get on with them in a minute. So this is our catalog, and I'm just going to put this link as well in the chat so that you all have this. The catalog has all our courses that you will have to take as part of this degree. So we have our core classes, and our core classes are designed in a way that you are able to answer questions like, any company has 3 questions, 4 questions. What happened? What happened is advanced statistics, descriptive analytics. What will happen? Predictive analytics. What do you recommend? Prescriptive analytics. Does it make economic sense? Econometrics. So when you go through the program, you have all the solid foundation about what really analytics is. And then how do you model your data? We have 3 flavors of it. We teach it with Python, modeling for business analytics. We teach it with R, we teach it with SAS, whichever you want to take. And then, of course, the basics, databases is what we dive into. And then all these different tracks, that ones that you just saw, they have courses within them that, like the data science track, you can do programming for data science, organizing business analytics platforms, machine learning, NLP, big data, advanced SPA with R, deep learning, RPA, causal analytics, data visualization. I mean, you name it, it's there. So again, you don't have to take all the courses, but if you have to pick up 6, and our electives, we have 74 electives from which you have to pick 6. So we give you a lot of variety for you to make a decision for yourself as to what you want to learn here. With that, let's just jump into the questions here that you may have. I'm going to the chat to see what questions have been put so far. Okay. So I'm starting with Likita's question about when can we do internships and how many months can we do? Great question, Likita. So if you're a domestic student, we want you to take at least 12 credits before you can start. But if you're an international student, all international students have to wait for 2 long semesters before they can start their internships. And once you start your internship, you can take 0 to 3 credits. Now you can take all those 3 credits in 1 semester, or you can split it over multiple semesters. I know that international students can only work for 364 days. So that's 1 year of your internship. But if you're a domestic student, you can have multiple internships as you want, but the maximum credits you can take is 3. Either you take it together or you split it across multiple semesters. Abdullah, I love the fact that you asked this question. What's the difference between a business analyst and business analytics? Excellent. So business analyst, those people are mostly focused on the systems and processes. They look at how maybe systems are integrated, etc., how the business processes, their focus is business processes. Analytics, on the other hand, is very data focused. You're making decisions. You might be doing data engineering where you gather data. You might be building warehouses. You might be warehouses as in data warehouses. That's the engineering piece. Then you create models on top of your data. You fine tune those models. You use different frameworks and algorithms to make sense of what exactly this data is. That's the data science piece of it. And then you also have the presentation piece, which is the data visualization or any kind of reporting that you might be doing. So analytics is really the art where you are wrenching all this data to figure out what's the meaning behind the historical data that is at hand, and how do you use that to make decisions. Business analyst is more about processes. They might they might not be very data focused, even though they use data, but their focus might not be data. But for business analytics, it's all about how do we procure data, how do we make sense of it, what techniques we need to use, how do we present it so that somebody can make a decision. Now, one thing about business analytics is whether you're an intern or a CEO, there is relevance. Business analyst, depending on what kind of structure your team has, you might have relevance. But analytics has the longest life. If you are in a technology focused organization, an analytics focused role has the longest life because everybody needs it. And guess what? As I said in the beginning of my presentation, there's a dearth of qualified professionals. So this is the right time to get into business analytics, to be very honest. Great question, bud. Okay, Tejas, since Flex program is state funded, do we get any scholarships? Absolutely, you do, Tejas. State funded means that as you take more credits, the per credit hour rate goes down, but there are scholarships. And as I mentioned, you might be an out-of-state student, and if you get a scholarship for $1,000 and it qualifies you for a waiver, a tuition waiver, you get 50% off there. So, and you can save about $19,000 if you get a scholarship over the course of 2 long semesters. Okay, Diksha, how can I get application fee waiver for applying to UT? Unfortunately, we cannot provide it. I know there are a lot of institutions that give out those waiver codes and all. They're mostly private institutions. UT Dallas, being a public institution, doesn't provide any fee waiver. But as I said, if you have to, let's say later on go and apply for another degree, like let's say you're getting into the certificate program, you have to send an application. You will never need to pay because a current student or an alum, whenever they apply to a program, that's free. Okay. Harshita, I'm an international student, very much interested in Flex. I've applied to the program 18 days back. May I know tentatively when can I expect a decision? Thank you for that question. I should have mentioned this before, but officially it's about 4 to 6 weeks before we turn out decisions. But kudos to our admissions team. If all your documents are received, in about 2 to 3 weeks, we can turn around a decision. So 18 days means that anytime in the next week or 2, you should be hearing back from us. What's the minimum GMAT score for a competitive application? Yusuf, we don't have minimums, whether it is GMAT or GRE. What we have is we have averages. So we see that about 630 is our average for GMAT, and for GRE, we have a 310 to 312. But I would say there is no one thing that can really boost your application, and there's no one thing that will just tank your application. We look at applications very holistically. We see that how you've done across, and maybe, something might not be as heavy as something else that you may have done, but we look at everything together to make a decision. Our goal is, when we look at your application and all the different things that you submit, the question that we ask is, if we put this student in our program, will they be successful? The answer is yes, you get an admit. So if for any reason you have any of the components of your application that are not strong enough, don't feel that that's the end of the road. There might be something else in your application that might be strong. On a similar note, sometimes students' application, they might be good in every section, but we still don't admit them because the goal that they have post-graduation, this is not the right program for them. And we see that when they submit all those documents, their essays, their resumes and all. So again, whether this is the right program and whether you will be successful, the minute we have answers to those 2 questions, we have a decision. All right, Vishwanathan, can you please let us know about the first priority deadline for MSBA? Now, if you're applying for spring, the regular deadline is October 1st. But if you apply after that also, we'll just assess a late fee. For fall of 24, if you're going with that, the regular deadline is May 1st, but our first priority is January 15th. Again, if you apply anytime in January, February, that's the best time to apply, not only for your program, but also for scholarships as well, if you're going for fall. But typically, we just take 2 to 3 weeks because it's a rolling cycle. We quickly let you know whether you're admitted or not. Is it compulsory, Bhavya? Is it compulsory to have a science background? We get people from all over the place. We have folks who are probably chartered accountants. They come to our program. Econ majors, they come to our program. Computer scientists, they come to our program. IT people, they come to our program. Mechanical, biosciences, neurosciences. I mean, you name it, people come from all sorts of backgrounds. The reason is very simple. The world is digital, the world is data focused, and business analytics kind of cuts across all domains. I mean, I was just speaking to a neuroscience major yesterday about the applicability of the program. And the simple thing was, even though somebody is trying to pursue a medical profession, there is still a lot of research, a lot of decisions that they are making based on the data at hand. And to know what those techniques are that can help them with better decision making, there's nothing like it. So whichever domain you come from, it is not a computer science IT only program. It is everybody's program. Yes, there are technological elements that we do teach you. You need to have some affinity for technology if you want to be successful in this program. But irrespective of your background, a lot of commerce people who have done, who have taken BCom, Bachelor of Commerce degrees, they come into the program, then they do well. And we have sometimes seen people who don't have, it's just from experience, people who don't have a computer science IT background tend to end up doing better because they feel that they don't have the background and they need to put more effort. And this degree is all about just putting effort. You put in more effort, you'll get better results. But thank you for asking that question. Okay, Saranya, what's the eligibility for securing a scholarship? Your entire application. A scholarship application is important, but your entire application is important as well. What you're writing in your statement of purpose, what you're writing in your, what's your resume. We do look at your academic performance as well, because these are mostly incoming scholarships or academic scholarships. So what you've done in your undergraduate degree, how you've done on the standardized test, GRE and GMAT, all that is taken into account. But it really depends on the pool, how good the pool is, what that pool looks like in a certain semester, and then we make decisions. Mati, what's price per 2 courses? So if you're asking about the tuition for 2 courses, again, this depends on what your residency is, Texas residency versus out-of-state residency. We have a good tuition table here, and depending on your situation, it might differ. I'm going to just put this here, but to give you just a gist of it, an out-of-state student ends up paying about, let's say if they're taking 3 courses, it's about $16,000. If they're taking more than 3 courses, then it goes up to about 20. Now, as I said, that as the credits go up, the per credit hour rate goes down, and the tuition for the flex program has a cap at 12 credits, which means you can take up to 18 credits in a semester. Anything that is taken beyond 12 credits doesn't cost you anything. So that way, sometimes our students take more courses to save on tuition. Now that's not recommended because that's a lot of courses, but we do have that ability as well where you can save on money. I'm just going to put this tuition plans here. This is the variable H.
Sorry, I'm instead.
Copy link address. Can letters of recommendation be professional? We do need at least 1 letter of recommendation from a working professional. Now, whether they have worked with you or not, till the time they are a working professional, we are good with that. So we do need that letter. Peace. From Nigeria, what do you seek in a potential candidate, especially in the case of international? Certainly, I took the GRE test and my scores were low. Do you encourage me to apply? Do you offer scholarships for international students? Peace, if your GRE is low, there are two things you can do. Either you can rewrite your GRE, because if you're looking for a scholarship, you will have to submit a GRE or GMAT. However, if you're looking for an admit, what I would say is apply without the GRE. Seek a waiver. We can waive it off and then let you apply. If you're admitted, at least that one thing is taken care of. And then at that point of time, if you want to rewrite your GRE, you can do that. We don't have a set number for what the GRE looks like for our scholarship recipients, but we always see that it's higher than the average score that we have. The average is about 312, 310, 312, and we see our scholarship recipients get a better score than that. So I would say eventually, if you're a scholarship aspirant, rewrite it, but for the purpose of the admission, you can send in an application without a score, get a waiver, and then go for this. All right, Kushagra, kindly inform whether the Dean's Excellence is same as the in-state scholarship. Yeah, that gives you the in-state waiver. So this is the same one. Thank you. Priyanka, will it be a disadvantage if I apply with only 2-year transcripts since I'm in my final year and pursuing a third-year degree? Not really. Depending on the length of your degree program, if you're in the final year, our admissions team, what they'll do is they will evaluate whatever they have for now with now. So just send your transcripts not transcript, your mark sheets, because you don't have your transcript yet. Send in your mark sheets for the 2 years. And based on our evaluation, we'll tell you whether we want to wait for your third year mark sheets, or we can just go with what is at hand. It depends on degrees as well, what degree you have. So I would say just apply. And if our admissions team is not able to process it, they'll let you know. Okay, Hari, I'm an international student who applied for MSBA Flex. The only pending task is the GRE submission. I have 2.5 years of experience in global business services. I'm eligible for a GRE waiver. Everybody is eligible for a GRE waiver. Again, we look at these waivers on a case-to-case basis. So please feel free and apply for a waiver for now. And as I said, if you're looking for a scholarship later on, you can take the GRE later. You can secure your admission, take your GRE, submit your score, and then you submit your scholarship application as well. Ina, I wanted to ask if there is any alternative to getting scholarships since my GRE has been waived, since the fees is quite high. Taking the loan is tough. Okay, we're going to put a link in the chat. So a few months ago, and this is something that I do annually, we do a session on funding, how really you can fund your education, and what are the different ways through which you can do that. What are the scholarship methods? What are the non-scholarship ways through which you can fund your education? That financial planning webinar is one of our top watched webinars and has a lot of great information as to how you can fund your degree. We'll put that link shortly in the chat from our YouTube channel, but that should help you, because it's not, if you don't have a scholarship or as an incoming student, some of our top students did not start with a scholarship, but they were here, they did very well, they became TAs in their second semester. And then when the second year came, they applied for the continuing student scholarships and they were able to secure that. So technically, they did not start with a scholarship, but 3/4 of their journey, they had some kind of financial support. There are students who don't get any kind of scholarships at all, but they're able to crack a great internship, that pays very well. That's another way. We have lots of on-campus jobs that you can start on in the first semester itself. So scholarship is one avenue, but not the only avenue to help you financially. And please do watch that webinar. We'll put that link in the chat shortly. That will be one great way for you to just analyze your financial position and see what are the different options out there. When can you see the Dean's Excellence Scholarship results? They generally take a few weeks, but they should be out. We're in September, so we should be rolling them out very soon. So this is Hari's question. We have a CPT program. From which semester we would be having it? So you can only start your CPT after 2 long semesters. If you're starting in spring, your program, then it's the next spring that you'll be eligible. If you're starting from fall, then it's the next summer that you can start off. But you have to complete 2 long semesters. Summer doesn't count as a long semester. It's fall and spring. But on-campus jobs are available from day one. We have a portal called Handshake. Once you are registered, enrolled in courses, the Career Center will automatically create your profile through which you can then apply for jobs. Sayantan, my admission to UTD was accepted and I am planning to join the upcoming spring semester. Is there any official channel to talk to student representatives to orient myself? Absolutely. So we have a couple ways. We have something called Connect with a Mentor, through which you can just submit your details and we'll connect you to a mentor. The other one is that we do have a MSBA Teams, not Teams channel. We have a Telegram channel in which we have prospective students, we have current students, and you can ask your questions all the time. I'm just going to put that link here in the chat so that you know. But yeah, those are the 2 ways through which you can connect with our students. All right, we're in the last 10 minutes, so I'm going to look at questions that are not asked before. And if there is a question that is asked before, we'll just skip it. Is there an option to extend the MSBA Flex program? When you say extend, you can complete the program in as less as 1 year to 6 years. That's the time period in which you can. So if you are going, see, if we don't have a fixed duration, we don't say that you must do this program in 2 years. You want to do it in 1.5 years? Good. 2 years? That's also good. 2.5 years? That's fine. But at some point you will run out of credits. Once you have completed all the credits, then you'll have to graduate. If a student gets a visa before the scholarship decision, yes. So once you get, if let's say you get your visa is there, and then you got your scholarship decision, you will need a new I-20. So give it about 2 weeks after you receive the scholarship decision. Make sure you go and accept it. Once you receive it, the school will send the list to ISSO and they will update your I-20. So you'll have to just go and ask them to reprint it for you, and you will see that the scholarship is listed on your I-20. What's the batch size? It depends. So this year, for example, we in fall of 23, we welcomed close to 480 students in the Flex program. I mean, our cohort, we had about 150. So I would say about between the different flavors of the MSBA program, we see anywhere between 600 and 700 students in the fall semester. In spring, that number reduces to about 300, 350. It's always a smaller intake. Not that we cannot have 600 people, we'd love to have them, but that's what we have seen. And summer is a much shorter semester, about 20, 30 students that come. All right, Namdi. So my internet reception is bad. Can we get a recording? Absolutely. So on our YouTube channel, we do put a recording of our webinar, so you can get all the information there. Hari, if we get admitted for spring 2024, is it possible to get for support from the Department for Emergency Visa with an I-20? Well, again, there are some things that are in our hand. We can give you the I-20 and all, we can write you letters of support. But as far as these slots are concerned, that isn't something that we can do much about, because it's not just our institution, it's potentially everybody that is impacted by the number of slots that are available. So there was a time when we would write letters for emergency visa. And again, the consulates do take those emergency situations into consideration on a case-to-case basis. So we will provide you with the documentation. We'll give you the I-20, but please stay on top of all the availability of slots that is there in the consulates of your country. And if some countries have multiple consulates, so if you cannot get an appointment at one place, please look for something that is available in another city of your country. Priyanka, there was a thumb rule mentioned while pursuing certificate programs. Will enrollment require separate fees? No, not really. You just have to send in an application for which there is no application fee because you're a current student. And when you take those courses, you don't pay double tuition. You don't have to sit in those courses longer than any other student. You get credit towards your certificate as well as degree program. What's the difference between cohort and flex? Well, when you get a flex scholarship, you get if you're out of state, your tuition changes to in-state. That's one difference. Cohort also has their scholarships. There are fixed amounts that you're given out on an yearly basis. If you are interested in that program, you'll have to reach out to the cohort program directly. Pradyumna, I have been admitted to Spring 24. I have a few doubts about the scholarship. Number one, when can I get the decision about the scholarship? I have submitted my application and the GRE score, so we are still reviewing it. Expect them anytime now. And again, if you don't get picked up for scholarship in the first round, we don't give you a reject immediately. We will put your name back into the consideration. And if the next time when we look at the applications, the bar is lowered a little bit. If you make it that time, you will hear from us. This goes all the way until sometime in December when we finally send out final decisions if you didn't make it. What are the factors for getting a scholarship? GRE is definitely your undergraduate performance, but what your essay was, what did you put in that essay, what your resume tells us. We look at the pool. We have to look at everything that the pool presents before we make a decision. As there is no one thing that we look at that, okay, we'll just look at your GRE and make a decision. So depending on the pool, we'll have to see where you stand. A 325 GRE, one thing that I know right from this comment is your GRE is good, but we'll have to also look at what the other parts of your profile are. Are the spring term scholarships less than fall? Can I know the estimate numbers? There's no estimate number because we cannot really put our finger on one number. It is lesser because there are lesser people who are coming in spring. That's the only thing. Proportionally, they are the same, but they are lesser just because there are lesser people who are going for spring. Can you touch on the MS MBA program? Absolutely. So the MS program is 36 credits, MBA is 53. Together, it's 89 credits. But if you take it like separately, if you have to do both these programs, it's 89 credits. If you do it together, it is 63. So literally on top of your MS degree, another 27 credits and you get your MBA. And there are courses that both the MS and the MBA program, they share. If you get an admission into the MS program, just come to UTD and in the first semester, reach out to advising and they will add an MBA if you want to go ahead with that. Monish, can we get internship? When can we do internships for graduate credit if we are a fast track student? Again, after you have completed 12 credits in the program, you are eligible. We'll see and whether those 12 credits, now you may have completed those 12 credits as a fast track student. Then when you get into the graduate program, we still want you to complete one semester in the graduate program and then we let you do your internship. Likit, I'm not able to join the MSBA cohort program for fall and my fall admission cannot be deferred. If you're going for the cohort program, you'll have to reach out to them, Likit, for any kind of help. But if you are deferring and you may not have deferred before the start of classes for fall 23, the only way to get a new admission for spring is that you'll have to apply. Now, the thing is, if you have not deferred before the start of classes for a semester and you're applying, since you got an admit once, there's a high probability that you'll get the admit again. Now, if you have submitted it for cohort, but you want to do flex, you will need a flex application. These programs are separate. We don't share applications amongst ourselves. So decide whether you want to go with the cohort program or the flex program and accordingly send an application for spring 24. Since you already had an admit before, it'll be easier for us to just give you an admit, like process it quickly because we have already processed your paperwork once. Look at what you've just said here, just send me a separate email as well. I'll look into it and I'll see what is the best that can be done here to help your case. We don't require VES evaluation for international students. We do our evaluations in-house. One of the components of the fee that you pay for the application is your foreign credentials evaluation. So that's $50. VES is much more expensive. Just simply do it at UT Dallas. Criteria for scholarship, we talked about it. I'm going to skip any question that we have already talked about. The tuition fees, Bhavya, I've posted the link here. It depends on your residency, but we did talk about that as well, that the upper limit is about, I would say about $20,000. And as I said, after 12 credits, everything is free until 18 credits a semester. Is tuition fee for flex and cohort same? Not really. The flex program, depending on your scholarship, your tuition assistance, you can be doing the whole flex program for $37,000, $38,000. The range is $37,000 to about $65,000. That all depends on your residency, your tuition, your scholarships, whether you're TA or not for a course, etc. Any prerequisite or certification that would be encouraged to be taken before MSBA? I would say just do some basics of R and Python. That always helps. And some basics of SQL. These three things, R, Python, SQL. If you have the basics good, you should be fine with starting this program. We're at the top of the hour, so I will quickly see what I can answer here. What's the tuition fee for MSBA program? We just answered that. Recording will be posted on our channel. The tuition for MSBA for 1 year, if I take 12 credits. Again, please, Renu, the link that I sent you that has all the details about if you take X credits, what will it cost you? Of course, if you do it in 1 year, it's going to cost you much lesser because you're taking more credits in 1 year to just finish it off. So yeah, you'll save, I would say, close to about $10,000 easily. Are there provisions for GA and TA? Absolutely, from your second semester onwards. Can we retake GRE and send the scores again if we get more than the average score? You can do that, absolutely. We will always consider the best score that you have sent us. When can we enroll for courses? So if it is for, if you're starting in spring, we will start the enrollment somewhere in November. And please do look into your emails because we have all the details there of when enrollment is going to start. And there would be some enrollment webinars. There will be webinars with our advising that will help you in terms of understanding how you can enroll into classes. But if you're going for a fall 24 semester, that enrollment will begin sometime in April. Raghavendra, how and when can an international student apply for scholarships? Well, we will put that link in the chat for you all, but on the Jindal website, there is a separate section where you can go in and apply for scholarships. I'm yet to get my decision. Will it be too late to apply for a visa first week? Not really. I mean, depending on what slots are available, sometimes consulates open a lot of slots. So I wouldn't say as of now that you're too late. You should be receiving your decision soon. Is it necessary to submit financial documents before getting an I-20? Absolutely. Your financial documents tell us whether you can pay for you have the financial ability to pay for your degree or not. That is required. It takes about 7 to 10 business days to receive your I-20 once you send your documents. I've graduated from an MBA program 4 years ago. Am I still eligible to apply? Absolutely, Yusuf, you can. We do get MBAs as well. And then the last question that I see here is Mohammed Amir. My undergrad degree doesn't provide transcripts. Instead, they offer attested mark sheets. If you have that, send us a copy and probably consult with my advising team to see if that is acceptable. There should be a way. If your institution is providing transcripts and that's coming from your institution, attested copies, that should be okay. But send me an email or maybe a copy of this and we can see if that's acceptable. And I'll have my admissions team look into it. Your CGP and your GRE there, we'll have to look at your entire application before we make that determination. As I said, there's no one thing that can help us make a determination whether you get the admit or a scholarship. How many credits can we take per semester? The max is 18. All right. Well, we didn't do too bad, just 3 minutes over, but we want to be respectful of your time. This webinar would be put on our YouTube channel, and please send us your questions. This is a big decision for you. We know that, and we want to make sure that we answer them well. But on that note, please do something fun during the weekend. Take care of yourself, and hopefully we see you on campus very soon in our program. Have a good one, guys. And the